Welcome back. You're still watching NTV Weekend Edition. Thank you all for staying with us. I am Sandra Twinobdio. Well, this week we saw the Ministry of Education conclude its annual review process that sets the pace for learning within the year, and it was held under the theme Adapting Teaching and Learning for Sustained Learning Outcomes. The review also addressed the future of learning under the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as a new TVET, that is Technical and Vocational Training Strategy, that seeks to improve vocational training in the country. So tonight, to navigate the issues that were discussed in this meeting, we speak to SAFINAH MuseenE, who is the Commissioner of Business TVET in the Ministry of Education and Sports. Welcome to Talk of the Nation tonight.
Thank you very much, Sandra, and good evening, viewers.
Well, just to be curious of what happened in this meeting, I know it was about discussing the issues to ensure the continuity of learning. What are some of those issues that you talked about briefly? Okay,
thank you very much, Sandra. It is a routine that every year the sector, Ministry of Education and Sports, review and present accountability of the previous year, how we have performed, and to the nation and to the population. And this year we reviewed, but also at the end of the review, we had to make resolutions that will guide the operation of the current year. One of them was to see that we allow continuity of learning. As you know very well, we are under COVID-19. And on the agenda, we looked at how we will provide online learning, especially for adults in universities and tertiary institutions, digitalizing education, and we already have this agenda, and our director for higher TVET is the coordinator for that. So we want to see how digitalizing education can be put on the board. But above all, you know very well that during COVID, as a sector, we provided radio teaching, we provided print and media material, which we call self-learning material, and of course now it is going to be taken on full board, because our National Curriculum Development Center has developed these materials for the whole year, and we will see that we distribute such materials to all the learners across the country.
Well, we also know the sector approved a new TVET policy intended to improve vocational education and, of course, the new learning regime. What are some of the key aspects in this policy?
Okay, thank you very much. This policy was approved by Cabinet in 2019, and this policy, we call it the demand employer-led policy, demand-driven employer-led policy. What do we mean by demand-driven? It means that what is required in the industry, in the world of work, is what we will be training in the education institutions, the TVET institution. For example, as we talk now, we have come to appreciate that technology is leading as far as operation. So we'll put a lot of technology in the teaching, we'll put a lot of rebranding what we are teaching. And then employer-led, it means that the employers will be guiding the processes, the curriculum. They will help us to determine the type of curriculum we develop, the content that we put in the curriculum, how it is delivered. We will get the employees or the qualified people in that field to help in the teaching of that curriculum, to help in the assessment and the evaluation, and also to support the mentoring and hands-on training. So that's what we have put within that policy, and that's why we are calling the demand employer-led policy.
Maybe staying also with the policy, it talks about enhancing vocational education among pre-primary.
Yeah.
You know, why are we focusing on this at this point in time?
Again, I want to thank our government and the Ministry of Education in general. You remember last year we were talking about the lower secondary curriculum. What we mean is that this curriculum, it has been structured on emphasis of learning skills, competences. It is a competence-based curriculum, and while we are teaching the other knowledge, we have also put in skills, the students that can learn and can motivate them to focus what they want to be in the future. And on top of that, we have even developed what we call assessment and training packages through our Directorate of Industrial Training. And this training and the assessment packages are the one we use for training, but also we assess the learners we'll be assessing them at regular intervals, and then we certify them on the competences that they have acquired. And we grade them that in the future, tomorrow, if they come to a training institution, a TVET institution, they don't start at 0 level. They have already acquired some knowledge, and then they just progress. Do
you feel like with this training that we're taking on, it's likely to widen or to limit or to reduce the unemployment gap that we have in the country?
That is our main
people
focus.
Will be better placed
to that's our main
jobs.
Focus, that when we prepare our people, one, we target where they are going to work, what is the need that way, and then we produce accordingly. But also we make them to develop skills that can enable them, in case they are not employed, they can employ themselves. So we are looking at that unemployment, the youth especially, and we want to skill them, and we want to make them able to
starting from when they are young,
from wherever they are.
Okay.
And also to make them develop an attitude, a positive attitude towards employment. Not to think that for you to be employed, you only need to sit in an office. We have come to appreciate that these technical skills, which are done in the garages, which are done in the factories, which are done in hotels, which are done in hospitals, that's where work is and employment is. So we want to make their attitude develop from where to go. That's where they are going to work, and this is the type of job they will be doing, what we call the blue-collar job.
All right. Well, as we come to the end of our conversation this evening, we'd like you to speak to us about the operationalization of the Skills Development Fund. How will this work, and how can one access that?
Okay. Thank you very much, Sandra, for that question. We have again come to appreciate that TVET training is very expensive, and the government has been supporting TVET training from where to go. And in our strategies, especially the Skill in Uganda strategy and in the TVET policy, we have proposed a skills development fund, and we have gone ahead to pilot it under the World Bank through the Private Sector Foundation in Uganda, and under Enabel in the northern and Karamoja region. We are providing this fund to support skills training. So this fund is a new innovation that is coming on board, and it is about generating funds from government, from the development partners, and from the various industries, employers and private sector, and putting it in one basket, and then prioritize it according to the demands that the country need. Like right now, we are looking at developing the human capital. And if we are to develop for oil and gas, for tourism, for the health sector, for agriculture, and for construction and manufacturing. So all that, the funds is appropriated accordingly, and that's how it is going to be operationalized. It is going to add on a responsibility on the various industries, on the employers, that they will need to contribute something little towards that bag, but for purposes of developing the skills that they want to work in their industries. So that's how we shall operationalize it. It will require a law, and the Minister of Education is right now working on the principles, and soon our Minister will present this to Cabinet, and then the BTVET Act that we have will be reviewed, and then it is provided for.
And maybe just to pick your thoughts, we know we are in a phased reopening of schools. Is there a chance that come maybe next year, or all students will be allowed to get back to school? Is that something you would know?
No, you know, that is a very complex question that you have posed to me. You know very well that for all the actions that we are doing as far as education and other business is concerned, we always get a declaration, a pronouncement from His Excellency on when to open up. But to be more practical, the reopening that we had in September and October of the school, for us as education, we are using it as a pilot. And indeed, we have appreciated. We set the standard operating procedures. The schools have complied. The students now are aware of what they have to do, and the pupils, they know how to put on the mask, they know the use of hand washing. We have trained our tutor, our lecturers, our teachers, and all of us who have experienced this new normal that we are in. So the lessons that we have learned, to us, we know we have learned something that is building our confidence to become broader. and we are waiting for the pronouncement. But we have at least positive lessons that we have learned that can support the full operationalization of institutions.
All right, thank you so much, SAFINAH Museene, who's the Commissioner, Business, Technical and Vocational Education Training in the Ministry of Education and Sports, speaking to us about the review that the ministry recently had, which is held every single year. We'll now take a short break, but in TV Weekend Edition, we return shortly.